at Doki Doki Forest. Welcome. I'm so glad you are here. Now today I'm going to be sharing a glue book for hashtag Flip Through Friday. This is a hashtag hosted by Harmony over at Harmony's Creations. So be sure to check the hashtag to see what other people are sharing. Anyone can jump in on this hashtag. If you have something you're working on and you want to share it with us, then feel free to tag Harmony, use the hashtag, and let us see what you've been working on. Now, I have just finished, as of yesterday morning, today's Sunday, so yesterday morning, I just finished my Glue Book January glue book. Glue Book January is hosted by Caged Fish, and she comes up with a scavenger hunt list, and then for each day of January, she will list several images, and you go and you find the images, and then you make a glue book page. Now, each year there's a twist to the challenge, and so this year's twist was a numbers twist. And so instead of just finding one of each image, there were some images you had to find several of, and she would put, 3 apples or 5 dragonflies or whatever it was. So that was the challenge. Now, for some of my pages, I came up with stories because a lot of times when I'm working on glue book pages, they just kind of come to life. They sort of have a personality as I'm putting the images together. So I'll share with you what I wrote in here. I think this is the first time that I've written the stories down in the glue book. Usually I come up with stories as I'm making the pages, but I don't think I've written them down before. I just sort of share them here on YouTube. This is actually my 3rd year doing this challenge, and it's normal for me to not complete in January. So it's a January challenge, and I think the first year I completed it in March. Last year I think I was early and I completed it at the end of February, but I could be wrong. And then this year is March again. So I am very gentle with myself with timed prompts like this, because sometimes life gets in the way and we just can't do things as quickly as perhaps we want to. Or we just need to take some time to rest, and it's just not the right time. So we can always come back to it and do it later on. At least that's kind of how I feel, because that's just sort of how life works. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so this is the notebook. I just use a Dollar Tree notebook, nothing fancy there. You can see the pages get chunky and a little bit wonky because we're doing them in order. So when you jump around a notebook or a composition notebook, it makes it a little easier on the spine. You don't quite get this bending. You can see how the back of the book is like way over here. But, when you do it in order, it just kind of gets wonkier and wonkier, but that's okay. I don't really worry too much about that sort of thing with this kind of challenge. So the first page I leave blank because I'm going to write, Glue Book January 2025, and I'll probably put a pocket here so that way I can tuck in the prompts. And here we go. Here is don't worry about this part where I've written the story because I will share that with you. The prompts were 3 apples, 1 white rose, 1 horse, and 1 dragonfly. And the story I wrote was, legend says, if you place 3 apples under a willow tree when the sun is surrounded by stars and you can hear the laughter of a river, the majestic dragonfly horse will appear and grant you a wish. Well, I have done one better. I've placed 2 regular apples and 1 caramel. I just know this will be the year I get to meet the mystical horse. And the next day we have 1 snowman right there, 1 banana, 1 skeleton, and 3 hands. So we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's actually 4 hands. Because maybe I don't know now if I wasn't counting the robot one as technically a hand, even though actually there's another hand there. Okay, just, I'm not sure why I added an extra hand now because I did this back in January. So I'm not sure. Let's just pretend it was 4 or 5-ish hands, multiple hands. We'll be gentle with ourselves on that one. So here is the story for this page. I've always had strange imaginary friends. When I was little, it was the snowman I rolled to life in my front yard one wintry day. Then it was the crescent moon I talked to on lonely nights, which I swore looked like a banana. In high school, it was the skeleton, Mr. Ribs, in my science class. Now that I'm grown, I have found my best friend to be an AI chatbot. Lonely? Yes. Pathetic? Maybe. But it's nice to not feel so alone. And on this day, we had 1 boot, 1 mouse, 1 wing, and 5 stars. All right, did I do 5 stars? Let's see. 1, 2, oh, this one I was using 3, 4, 5. So see, I sort of cheated with this too, because obviously there's more stars. But I was just counting these 3 twinkling ones, plus this like desiccated starfish, and then this star that's in the candle, carved into that candle. So again, just kind of, you know, being gentle with myself and how I handled these prompts. And here's the little story. William was a mouse who was born with 1 wing instead of 2, which hampered his ease with flying, but not his determination. With great tenacity and a little stardust, he was able to create a flying boot which soared above the stars, reaching heights which previously were only the vague dreams of his kind. All right, and now we have this page. Let me get my ruler. I gotta mark where I'm at over here. Okay, here we go. All right, 4 cats. All right, did I at least do 4 cats? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, finally I did 4 there. 4 cats, 1 mug right here. You can see it's a little hat that says press on it. 1 queen. And 2 pairs. So we have a golden pair there and a golden pair there. And the story goes like this. No one realized when the queen chose to wear golden pair earrings the effect it would have on cats everywhere. From places unseen they emerged, all entranced by the swaying fruit and wanting to take a swipe at them. It caused such a ruckus the queen had to be hurried back to her quarters, while Buckingham Palace was cleared of pesky felines. So this is like the ace reporter reporting about these amazing earrings on the cat news. The cats are all like going crazy. See, these guys have fun with this sort of stuff because the images are so random and you don't have to do a story or anything. And I don't always do a story, as you'll see. But, you know, it is fun when you can sort of try to make sense of all this randomness. Now, see, this one, I haven't written the story yet. It doesn't mean there isn't one. I just didn't write it yet. So I'll tell you what we had here. We have 3 turtles. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Tulips. 1, 2. 1 chicken. There's a little chicken plush there. And 1 cupcake. And it actually has, this was a really cool cupcake. It had like Nessie popping out of it, the Loch Ness Monster. So I thought that was cute. Yeah, so I don't have this story yet. So, you know, if I have any pages that don't have a story, you can tell me if you think of anything. I would love to know. Okay, day 6. Actually, this one doesn't have a story either. And it's more because I, you know, used 2 pages and I didn't know if I was going to have any room at the end. So I sort of was trying to count through and figure it out. And I did only wind up with this 1 page at the end here. So I could write something really small for some of the pages I missed, but I don't know. So this one is 1 scuba diver, 5 cars. Okay, let's see how I did. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is a little radish car here. 4. And then 5, there's a little black and white car there. Isn't that radish car so cute though? I love that. 1 ball, so I used a disco ball, and 1 sun. And there is a boat there, but I just didn't want to, I could have cut that, but I liked it. It took up that space there. Yep, so this one doesn't have a story. You can let me know. I know when I was writing it, though, I actually did have a story for it. Something about this car, like going underwater and going on adventures and that sort of thing. Probably magical. You know, I like to have everything be magical. That's a common theme you'll see. Just in general, with everything I do. Okay, day 7. We have... let me find my place here. Okay, 1 watch face right here. 2 whales. We have 1 and then 2. 1 cactus. We have a cactus pillow here. And 3 houses. And I stacked them on top of each other. So 1, 2, 3. I love the teal color here. That just happened. You know, just the way it worked out. I did have a few different watches, but I used this one because of the teal I liked that was sort of connecting everything. Okay, here's the story. Good day, it's me, Nathan Niles Neilworthy, your host of Lifestyles of the Rare and Finned. Today, we are featuring beautiful undersea homes and decor of Humphrey Boatgart, actor, swimmer, diver. Of course, Humphrey has the latest styles on display in his lovely homes, including a cactus print pillow, which is very in demand right now, as well as a gorgeous watch with teal strap that's just the right size for a fin. Now, the watch is broken due to its being underwater and all, but as a symbol of wealth and status, it's second to none. So that was like a take on the old show, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Oh, gosh. All right, here's our next page. Let me see. What do we have? 3 birds. See if I could do my counting properly here. We have 1, 2, 3. All right, Amy, you did it. 1 bottle, which this tiger is holding here. 1 beetle. The beetle is on the snow owl's back. And then 1 tiger. And here's the story. One thing Tanaka Tiger loved to do was go bird watching. Like most cats, big or small, the fluttery wings, strutting steps, and all manner of chirps and hoots and screeches were just too much to resist. But today something very odd happened. Among all of the birds Tanaka was watching, there flew a great big snowy owl. That in and of itself was a rare sight to behold, but what made it so weird was that Tanaka spied, perched upon its back, a giant beetle, shining like a jewel. Tanaka immediately put down the catnip-infused soda he had been enjoying. That was enough for today. Okay, day 9, we have 1 bear. Wait a minute. 1 bear. I have 2 bears. Okay, so I took some liberties with that one. Okay, 1 bear. Okay, 1 ice cream cone, 3 bees, 1, 2, 3. There is a cone up here too, which I cut into a crown, but it's actually the same cone that was here that I cut off. But I cut that into a little crown. And it does say 1 crown, and I have 2 crowns. Because this is the official crown, and this I was really taking as still an ice cream cone, but sort of a cheap sort of a crown. And the story is just a little comic of these bears. This one goes, "Hey, I know the crown you traded her is bigger, but does she know it's just an ice cream cone?" And this one says, "Dude, keep walking. Like, be quiet. Don't let her know, because she's big, and I'm sure it's going to really hurt if she comes after us and stings us." Day 10, This one does not have a story to go with it, but we have 5 penguins, or do we? Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but actually there's 3 in the background. So if you count those, it's 8. Man, the numbers thing is not working for me, huh? 1 cloud. What do I have? Two cherries. Okay, we got 2 cherries and 1 smile. Well, if this guy was smiling, we'd be in trouble, but he looks more kind of like, what the heck? So we're in luck. And this one too. So yeah, 1 smile. So yeah, oh, wait a minute. A smile. Uh-oh, I have 2 smiles. And maybe these penguins are smiling too. Who knows? So, okay. That's another one that we're just going to give ourselves a pass on. And this page also does not have a story. A lot of times if I have a double spread, there's no story because I was afraid if I used another page for the story that I would run out of pages. This one was 1 mustache. So here's Pedro Pascal with his mustache. 1 kangaroo right here. 5 butterflies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Got that one, and 1 camel. It's a little stuffed animal camel. So yeah, no story for that one. Let me know if you've got anything. I'd love to hear it. Day 12. Okay, we do have a little story on this one, but let's look at our image first. Let's check and see how we're doing. 1 sailboat. So there is a sailboat here. It's a little tricky to see because of the owls on top. 1 clock, 4 owls, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 dolphin. Okay, so this one, I did pretty good in terms of keeping with the prompts. And the little story for this one is, it was at precisely 2:57 that the 4 owls set off on their grand ocean adventure. None of them knew how to sail a boat, but that didn't stop them. Claws gripping tight as the waves rolled them along, the owls were promised that they would see dolphins jumping and playing. Any second now, Astrid winked. For some reason, it never occurred to the owls that they could have just flown over the water and didn't actually need a boat. So there's Astrid winking right there. And there they are, just clinging on. There's a little branch on there for their convenience. And this one's just hanging on to the edge. And looks like they did see a dolphin. Not sure if they flew home or sailed home. Okay, here is our next page here. And we have 3 mushrooms. 1, 2, 3. 1 zebra, 1 rabbit, and 1 waterfall. And here is the story. You've heard of the Fountain of Youth, but have you heard of the Waterfall of Transformation? It's a hidden paradise deep within the mushroom forest, which can only be found by befriending the mushroom folk and their animal companions. They are secretive creatures that will look like ordinary toadstools and forest critters unless you gain their trust, in which case you will see their true forms. If you're lucky, they may guide you to the Waterfall of Transformation, where you can wade in and transform into, well, I'm not sure, as no one's ever done it before, so be sure to let me know if you go. So you can let me know, what do you think you transform into if you go in this waterfall, this legendary waterfall? Do you turn into one of the mushroom folk? I don't know. Okay, this one is 1 ladybug right here, 5 frogs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 cake, big cake here, and 1 camera. And the little story is here. A frog's birthday is celebrated each year on the day they turn from tadpole to frog and sing for the first time. It is a momentous occasion, and a huge cake must be ordered from Lucinda Ladybug's bakery. Many frogs celebrate birthdays together every day, all during the spring and summer, and they sing joyous birthday songs all through the night. Perhaps you've heard them? And this is like the official photographer taking pictures of the birthday festivities. Show you a close-up of those little froggies there. Okay, day 15. We have one teapot, which is there, looking kind of freaky. One bike, which this man is walking up the road. 4 eyes, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and the man has eyes, but he's so small that, you can't really see them. And 1 cow, of course, main focus right here. Although this is pretty distracting, right? Little story here. "Well, ain't that a sight?" muttered the man as he strolled past the cow. "A cow drinking tea straight from the kettle." The teapot was quite upset he made no mention of her lovely eyes. I thought it would be funny to have this guy walking up the road, and he sees this sight, and the thing that he finds strange isn't that the cow is drinking tea or that the tea kettle has eyes. It's just that there's no teacup. The cow's drinking tea from the kettle. So that was the only thing that surprised him. So it's just sort of a little silly thing of the teapot being offended that it wasn't noticed. Okay, now we have, pull up my list here. Okay, we have 2 sharks, 1, 2. We have 1 high heel, which is this jeweled green high heel there. 3 ducks. We have one that is like a creamer or some sort of a pitcher here, and then 2, 3 there, and 1 slice of pizza. And the story goes, in order to get the best pictures of sharks, photographers began offering pizza instead of chum to the undersea creatures. It was a hit. The sharks loved the pizza and would swim right up and grab it out of their hands. The photographers would hide in all sorts of submersibles disguised as everyday objects, like shoes, and just extend one hand out carefully, offering these tasty triangles. They captured the best photos of their careers, even if they did have to deal with the pizza-loving ducks they didn't account for, who constantly photobombed their work. All right, now this one does have room for a story, but I did not write one yet. So again, let me know in the comments if you have any ideas. This one was 1 window, 3 balloons, 1, 2, 3, 1 llama, and 1 lighthouse. So, of course, it could be the llama's birthday. Maybe they're prepping the lighthouse for a big celebration, or maybe it's someone's anniversary, or I don't know. Maybe they're sending messages out on balloons, seeing if anybody finds them. I remember back in elementary school, we would tie messages to balloons and let them go, and we wanted to see if anybody would find the message and write back to the school. And as far as I know, nobody did. And that's a thing that would never happen today because, of course, sending off a bunch of balloons is really irresponsible and environmentally unfriendly. So would never happen. But, back in the 80s, we didn't know any better. Okay, now this page I don't have a story for. And this is day 18, so we have 3 sheep. And the 3 sheep are all right here, all together in this little image here. Then we have 5 trees. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 coin and 1 plane, which really blends in, but it's right here. And this was like a time when I was working on these pages that I was feeling sort of out of it. Like I wasn't in the zone for these ones. So this one I felt kind of like about. Like I did it, but I don't love it, But I'm still glad I completed the challenge. But, sometimes a page flows and sometimes it can be like I don't want to say it's a struggle. I mean, it's gluing images down, but sometimes it feels a little like it just doesn't quite go together as easily or as cohesively as you'd like. Even if it's not telling a story, just in terms of like the color or the placement and that sort of thing, you know, like for me, I don't love this. I love the different kinds of trees, but I don't love this coin and I don't love this plane. I think that's what's messing me up. I tried to find a nice coin that at least had an animal, but yeah. Oops. And these pages are, I mean, these images sometimes lift up, so I got to come through and glue those back down again. And this was another one. I don't have a story because I felt uninspired by my own work here. I just sort of was like, you know, I did it, but I don't know that I love it. So this one's 1 ballerina, 1 giraffe, 4 cups, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 key, which we have on this little tassel key ring there. So yeah, I just didn't come up with anything for that one. And I decided that that was okay. I wasn't going to force it, you know. If something came up, it came up. If it didn't, that's okay. Let's just turn the page and move on to the next thing. Like this, which also doesn't have a story because it was another one that I was just sort of like, huh? And I think it's because of this big image I use that has all this gray or something. I don't know. Because I really liked this here, and I like this lizard, and I like this peacock, but this flamingo too, I'm a little like, I don't know. So it was 1 flamingo, 5 hearts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 lizard, and 1 peacock. So yeah, it's a page, it's done, and I was like, let's go on to the next one, maybe this one. And nope, this one still wasn't working for me. This one was 3 wheels. So we have 1 big wheel here, and then there's 2 little wheels down there that I sort of cut off accidentally, but I was excited to find an image like this that wasn't like a car or a bus or anything like that. So I was really excited to use this image, and then I don't know, I just couldn't pull it together. It was like 1 pumpkin, 2 swans, and again, I loved this image and this one, 1 glove. I love this image too. And I probably should have just maybe looked for other images, but I didn't have at hand anyway. I couldn't find another image that had swans. And most of my pumpkin images were packed away in my fall bin. So, I don't know. It's just sort of a page that's done. And I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't use this better or this or this. But, you know, it happens. And we just, again, turn the page and hope for a better day next time. So this one has a story. This one is 1 pair of scissors, 2 feet, even though the dinosaur, I guess, has feet, but, you know, 1 dinosaur and 3 ships. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. There's 1 there that the foot's kind of stepping in. Actually, there's 1 there too, so technically I should cover that one, so there's only 3. And, of course, these are kind of boats. So are they ships or are they boats? You know, was I supposed to use big, like, cruise ships or something? I don't know. I just sort of give myself some leeway there with that. And, you know, I just sort of let you in on that because that way, if you have a day when you feel like, oh, this page isn't great, you know, it's okay. Just, you know, just you did something and you can just try again next time and, you know, don't worry about it. Or, you know, if you sort of use like a boat and you're like, is this a ship or was I supposed to use a cruise ship? Or, you know, I used 3 feet and I was supposed to use 2. I think like it's okay to just be a little loosey-goosey with the guidelines if we need to. You know, like if you've been looking and you don't find exactly what you think you're supposed to find, just use like the closest thing. Or don't use it at all. You know, just omit it if you can't find it. You know, don't get too hung up on it is my point. Like, it should be fun. Okay, this one does have a story. Admittedly, the boats were a bit too small, but that was the least of the giant's concerns as they stepped in. For there on the dock was the dinosaur captain, carrying scissors to cut the rope that anchored the boat. No thumbs or fingers to untie them, he explained. So how would he be able to use scissors or steer a boat? Okay, here's another page that I didn't have a story for. It just didn't come up with anything. So we have 2 thumbs, which you can see here on the brains. We have 1 seashell, 3 pigs, 1, 2, 3, and 1 planet. Okay, and then day 24, we have this page, which I love, and I was actually hanging out with Care over at My Take at the Lake. We were doing a FaceTime and chatting, and I was working on this page while we were hanging out, and I love it. And of course, it's just awesome that this day happened to have a prompt of 3 dogs while I was chatting with Care because she loves pups. So it was 3 dogs, 1 fountain, 1 shoe, and 1 bus. And there's a little bus in the tree there. And the story is, one of the best parts of the fairies' bus tour through the human lands was their ride over the dog park with the glorious fountain and pups aplenty running all around. The fairies noticed the dogs had found one object they were particularly fond of chewing, which the tour guide explained was a human foot covering. So the tour guide does not realize this is called a sneaker. They just called it a human foot covering, which the dogs are really enjoying chewing. Look at those happy little pup faces. All right, day 25. We have 1 alligator. Whoops, hold on, I lost my thing. Okay. We have 1 alligator, 1 red rose, 3 chairs. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 1 carrot. And the story goes, you may know that some dogs love carrots, but did you know that some alligators do too? Or at least Rosie the alligator does. She can sniff them out from miles away, much to the chagrin of the pups, who thought they hid their carrots in the chair so well. And this page I know I already shared in the previous video as well as this one, but I'm just going to put it in here to complete the book. That way, if you missed the other video, you can still see the whole book here. And this one was 1 leaf, 1 arrow, 2 eggs, and 1 koala. And the story goes, when Kiara transformed into her magical form, she was shocked to see that a huge koala appeared by her side, ready to join her in her battle. Who are you? She questioned, not expecting an answer. I am your guardian, your partner, the koala answered, and together we will save the world. So this is sort of like a magical girl, like Japanese anime, Sailor Moonish sort of inspiration. Day 27, we have 5 legs. Whoop, we also have a random piece of paper. Okay, 5 legs. 1, 2. All right, I'm counting this as 1 leg because you can't really see the one in the back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 hat. 1 crab, some big old crab here, and 1 train, which is down here in this corner. And here is the story. For Mum's birthday, I decided to go all out. We took a train ride out to the beach, where we savored sumptuous food and tropical drinks, took in the aqua blue sea sparkling in the sun, and saw a gigantic blue crab make its way across the sand. Mum smiled ear to ear the entire day, and I knew I'd knocked this day out of the park. Feeling smug about the amazing day I had planned, I asked, so, Mum, what was your favorite part of the day? Was it the pineapple strawberry smoothie, the train ride through the countryside and out to the beach? No, she smiled with a wink in her eye. It was the men. What? I replied in shock. The men on the beach. Those abs and muscles and toned legs. I just about thought I'd died and gone to heaven. He's more excited about all those nice men she saw at the beach. Like, you know, that's what she was looking at. Good for you. Day 28 was 1 parrot, 5 berries. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 sofa. This is a sofa underneath the parrot here on this branch. It's kind of covered. And 1 umbrella, which is this large image in the background. And I didn't write a story here because, you know, no real space besides just a little bit here, which I'm probably going to cover with washi tape. But here's what I wrote. Miyoko never suspected a magic rain would bring one of her berries to life. So I was imagining she had this garden where she planted all these berries, and then one day there was some sort of a magic rain, and one of them sprung to life and surprised her when she went out to check on them. And the parrot is enjoying this very much. A little budgie bird, actually. We used to have one just like this, named Rainbow, back when I was a kid. All right, we're almost at the end. Day 29. We have 4 elephants. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 1 earth, 1 sock, which is right here, and 1 bow tie. And I was trying to read his name tag. It looks like it says like Putu. So I'm not sure, but I named him Putu in the story because that's what it looked like to me. So I'm not sure. And here is the story. Putu the bartender thought he'd heard everything until one night a scraggly stranger began babbling. So there's this elephant herd, he began, and they have to gather things and bring tribute to their leader. One time they brought her a sock, which she always wears on her left tusk. But one day they brought the entire earth, and now they play with it as they wander, rolling it around with their trunks and kicking it with their feet. And that's why we have days and nights as the earth rotates. It's the elephants. Putu smiled politely as he swiftly pulled the stranger's martini away and sent him home. But that night, as he left work and headed for the train station, Putu could swear he heard the sound of an elephant. Okay, and then we have day 30, 1 door, 5 fish, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 ghost right here, and 1 bell, which is right there. And the story goes, throughout the years, the 5 fish guardians had enjoyed greeting the many visitors who traveled through the magical door deep in the ocean's depths. They loved hearing the tinkling sound of the old bell hung above it, signaling that a new visitor had arrived. But they got the shock of their lives one day when, upon hearing the bell's chimes, they swam over, only to discover that the new arrival was, in fact, a ghost. Such a thing had never happened before. Even Carl the catfish was silent, and that was saying a lot, because Carl had a loud opinion on everything. There's Carl. He's like, what? And the last page, last day of the month, the 31st, we had 1 squirrel, 2 donuts, 1, 2. Don't worry about that little piece of one down there. Pretend that's not there. 1, 2. 1 fern and 3 monkeys. So 1, 2, 3. And our final story goes. Chester the squirrel knew he should have checked his food stash 9 times instead of the customary 8. He had been experiencing a higher than usual anxiety because instead of nuts and seeds, he had discovered 2 delectable donuts just laying on the sidewalk, only 1 bite taken out of it. He hid them in his stashing place, the one beneath the fern, which fern Chester sometimes forgot. But that curious monkey baby just happened to peek right under the fern's leaves, revealing Chester's treasure. From there, it was game over, as monkeys seemingly descended from nowhere, devouring the donuts immediately. Chester never appreciated the fact that they had actually done him a favor, as he was supposed to be on a gluten-free diet. Oh my goodness, and that's that. And then I just wrote in the back, finished March 22nd, 2025, which was yesterday. And then I could make some notes here, or if I add some stories in, I could, put the page or the day number and add something here, and I can write on here as well. So yeah, if you have any ideas for stories, I'll add them in the back here, and I'll put your name, so that way I can give you credit. And that does it for Glue Book January. We are done. And I had a blast. Thank you to Caged Fish for putting this together each year. I really enjoy it. Let me know if you did this as well, or if you're still working on it. I would love to know. And yeah, I hope you have an awesome day today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed some of the stories. And I'll see you again soon.